but it's too fucking hard. Like, it's like suddenly I've become paralysed and it would take a superhuman strength to move my legs out of bed and my head off the pillow. When it gets to about 9:45, I admit to myself that I'm going to be late. Do I really want to walk into a lecture hall through all my classmates late and draw attention to myself? So I start bargaining with myself, asking myself questions, thinking of excuses I can use if I don't go in. If I believe I've got suitable reasoning and I've got a good enough excuse, I just go back to sleep. The extra sleep doesn't make things any better though, probably worse because I feel guilty for not going into uni in the first place. So I'll get up and I walk around the house in dead silence. I won't communicate except to snap at someone, and every time I do, I hate myself for it. I'll go through the day on autopilot. Next thing I know, I'm back in bed, waiting until I decide that it's a reasonable time to go to sleep. And then I wake up the next morning. The whole thing starts again. Like I say, it's a cycle. A never-ending fucking cycle.
What happens on a 0% day?
I've only had a few of these, and I hope it stays like that. I remember once I moved out of my house and in with the family I'd grown up with. The majority of the days is just a blur, and my memory is awful at all the lowest points of my life. All I remember is I suddenly felt really dirty and I needed to shower. I got into the shower, and for the first time in years, I had an anxiety attack. I hadn't admitted how bad my mental health was to my family at this point. I was in the shower crying, hyperventilating, and I generally thought I was going to die. Then this fascination about death came over me, and I remember looking around at everything in the bathroom, searching for things I could just hurt myself with. This was the first time I'd felt like this. I felt worthless and stupid and just exhausted. I forced myself to snap out of it, which was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. I went to the woman I was living with and I told her, "You need to take me to hospital because I am going to kill myself." It was like something had taken over me and I just couldn't fight it anymore. That was years ago though. My most recent 0% day was maybe about 3 or 4 months ago. It's like all of a sudden your barriers are gone and your mask's left you and you just stood there completely vulnerable with everything out there for the world to see. All the pain I've experienced, all the bad memories, all the hurt and the guilt, they all come out at once, and it's almost as if I feel every emotion I've ever felt all at once. It's impossible to describe with words. You've got to have had a 0% day to understand what I mean, and I hope to God you haven't. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. I wouldn't fucking wish it on anyone.
Created using Powtoon.